Good morning, everyone. Michael Venezia, TradeView Markets. We're going to sign the trade Gate Hub for a second. It is June 4th, 11:02 Eastern. We're getting better. Listen, well, even though it was an abbreviated week, actually right now, I would say the action, that's a poor word. The action is for gamblers. The movement has been subdued, but a handful of stocks, as I'm going to point out later on, have been really taking over the most of the movement in the market. I'll get into that in a second, but after today's Friday employment number, the market's looking strong. I have Mike Lombardo, my colleague and equal in terms of knowledge. Mike's been in it; he's been on a couple of the webcasts, but I bounce. The reason why I asked Mike to be on here today is, believe me, not because I'm short of data or even short of things to talk about, is because I wanted to ask Mike about what he thought about the AMC situation going on. As you can see, that's what AMC did yesterday into the close. And today, well, I think what's that, 48, 49 right now? We'll go back to the screen, but I wanted everybody to get distracted with the quotes. With that being said, as I brought Mike in, because you know what? Sometimes when I'm here or looking at the screens all the time, in a micro view, if you will, you can sort of lose an idea of the big picture of what's going on. And Mike, being the head of our equity division and also a trader who I bounce ideas off of all the time, and why I want to have him on now is I wanted to, instead of me asking him privately, if you will, on the chat, I might as well have asked him now. So I had him on to discuss what was going on, what he thought about what's going on with an AMC, because he does handle our risk management department, looking how clients handle the trades, buys and sells. And that's also, as I said before, many casts before, from a qualitative point of view, I like to see which side of the people of the market. That's why they have the sentiment numbers. Certainly, as I said a million times, it's not something to trade upon. It's a tool. It's part of my tool, and I use it to make a plan and formulate and go to trades upon there. So with that being said, I have Mike on here. Good morning, Mike. What's going on?
Hey, Mike. Thank you. Good morning, everyone. Yeah, I mean, look, obviously AMC was it's been the hot stocks in play. Pretty much one of the Reddit, part of the Reddit group, along with GME. So we saw this parabolic move, not to any extent that we've seen over the last week and a half, but we saw this started taking off a little bit back in January, and really exploded. And I mean, I'd like to talk about just when you start getting these parabolic moves, in an AMC, and you get day 1, day 2, 3, 4, 5. Everybody knows. I've seen, and Mike, tell me, how many accounts have we seen just absolutely get destroyed for one or two reasons? One, they either chase the thing up and they get caught holding the bag, or two, they realize or they try picking a top and the stock gets oversold. They think the stock is oversold, and they try selling. They try selling on the way up, thinking that, hey, this thing, it doubled. Went from 10 to 20, 20 to 40. You can't go any higher.
Everything that you just talked about, I did. So Wednesday's cast, if you will, with podcast. I don't know if there's a podcast. What is the webcast? Okay, so I shorted a little AMC. I'm not going to lie to you, because right here you can see my screen. The RSI. Once again, I was looking for a trade. I brought a bunch of rules came to, and also I wanted to have you on here because as I can even show you here what's going on the screen here. I could talk about any stocks, what's going on, and write down 5 that I like, 5 that I don't like. But I'll go back to AMC and go about all the fundamental and principle rules about. Mike and I have been in the business and trading for 20. I covered some CWH. Giddy up. We've been trading for a long time here. So I want to talk about CW, about what happened in AMC. Now,
yeah.
The thing is this: when I did the telecast on Wednesday, and go back to it. As a matter of fact, I was talking to it with Francis, one of our guys that's working with us now. And I had a little bit short. And you know what? I'll tell you what I should. 800 short at 39. And this is what happened right here. Wednesday afternoon from 11 o'clock, I started the webcast. There it is, 11. And AMC was what? 42. And I go, oh my God, AMC is what, trust me, it's 42. 42. So by the time I got done with the webcast, it was 60. So a couple of rules right there. First of all, it's amazing how your smallest positions wound up turning into being your biggest losers. Now, it didn't turn into a big losers. I had to work I had to work 3 times as hard to cover a damage loss than I would just have been going with momentum, blah, blah, blah. But I should have had to stop, or been more attentive. But because I had such a small position on, an 800 share position turned into, all of a sudden, the stock traded 75 that day. So I'm sure whatever, 800 shares from 40, the stock was down. So I'm down 30 points on 800 shares. Now it turned in. Now I have to go work the order. But you know what? I didn't have to do it the hard way, but it did give me a gauge on how to trade the other ones in the movement, which is Bed Bath & Beyond, which, by the way, went from 44 to 32. That's 12 points without a commercial. But the thing that what I'm saying with AMC, and I mean to cut you off, is that, I just, it was something, I tried to do all those things. I did it successfully. I actually had to work hard at it. It was a poor entry, but the whole point is that the AMC and all these Wall Street bet stocks took a lot of the other movement out of the other stocks. I mean, the stocks traded 600 million shares a day in a 30-point range.
Absolutely insanity.
And it has more range than Apple, more volume than Apple, Microsoft, Google, all put together. So what I'm saying is, I'm going to the trading point, and I don't cut you off, is that you have to be in it. So AMC is, yes.
All right. So look, can I fault you for shorting it? Because the stock went from what, 10 to 30, 10 to 40 in the span of a week and a half.
I can be faulted. Listen, I can be faulted. This is, no, you can't. No, listen.
I wanted
to be in it, but I knew I knew I was going to be down before I was going to be up. But then I questioned, should I? Well, maybe I can be long it until it's a tough game that way. That's all.
Right. So a couple of points here. All right. Go back, if you can go back to that chart on Wednesday. I just want to point out, and this is why sometimes on that RSI chart. Yeah, right there. Okay. So you put the short on. So let's just say, I'm sorry.
This is last week going to Tuesday. This is Wednesday.
Yeah. So let's just and let's just pretend, because I'm looking at the action from June 2nd. And again, just a quick point about RSI. Sometimes why, if you can go back to that.
I know stocks can stay way overbought longer.
Yeah, that's and again, if you look at that's right there, right where you kind of shorted it, right? And it's had this parabolic move. And you look at the RSI and you're like, okay, here we go. It hit that level. But if you notice that pullback, let's just pretend that that June 2nd, that we're looking at it daily. The pullback there it's pretty shallow. So you got a stock that goes from 10 to 40. Okay, you're looking for that everyone's looking for the reversal that happened. What, yesterday morning. Everyone's looking for that pullback from 40 down to like into the mid 20s or whatnot. But the thing, it's holding and it's holding and it's holding. Not only that, but then you couple that. Look at the volume, the volume at 11 o'clock on June 2nd.
Yeah,
so there's nobody selling.
Webcast.
Yeah, and there's nobody selling, and so the volume is a fraction of what the up volume was, right? And like you said, you have the Reddit crowd coming in. You have all this hot money. The market's been stagnant. Guys are looking for some fast bucks and looking to juice up some returns, and they squeeze the hell out of it, and the thing goes from 40 to 70.
Well, the thing was, if I was attentive and I was, I would have bought a little of the other ones to hedge, if you will.
There you go. And that's the other thing I was going to say. So. You start getting these parabolic moves, right? And we've seen
28 to 41 the same time. Right. Same. Oh Jesus. Yeah. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah. No. That's that. And there's two ways to do it. there's two ways to play it. One, look, the catalyst yesterday was, the news that the news regarding the stock sale, right? So they're doing a secondary, they're issuing more stock, and that's usually a sign where insiders feel like, okay, this thing's had its run. And so that triggered, I believe it came out pre-market. It was trading up in the pre-market, up in the
It's
70s.
77. I shorted it. It's 77.
Nice, excellent. There you go. And then that was it. And then everyone kind of realized, okay, we got to get out of this thing. So a couple of points here. So when you get these parabolic moves, people, other than GME, which even for me, like in the 20 years that I saw it, that I've been trading, I haven't seen a stock like that where the stock actually remained elevated at those levels.
Yeah, I know another one, JKS.
Very few. There you go. So that's another good example. But the vast majority of the time, when you get these parabolic moves, these stocks, and you and I know somebody that was in GSX, so that's where the thing goes,
which by the
parabolic,
way, breaking multiple year lows, by the way.
Yeah, right. So the stock goes parabolic. The stock goes from 20, 30 bucks to 100, 140, 150, and then comes. So everybody knows that these moves are the majority of the time the stock is going to come back and it's going to revert.
It's solvency at that point.
And that's exactly right. And so the problem is, can you withstand? How much cash do you have that you can withstand one of these moves? How long can you hold on? Because you throw at this point, when the stock goes from 10 to 40 and it's not coming, you got to throw all fundamentals, everything out the window, and it becomes pure momentum. And all the hot money's coming into these names, and they are just ready. And like you said, I mean, half a billion shares on a stock that's done nothing over the last year and a half or so. So you have all this hot money coming in.
The irony is, I've actually been on about 2 weeks ago, I was saying to watch to go long it, and it never went. It didn't.
So there you go. So that even hurts more.
Well, no, it didn't really hurt. It's my fault. It's just it was a while. Listen, the bottom line is 1 week. It all wound up where I started. It was just,
Right. So you took all that pain and
no, I didn't take the pain. I actually wound up making money in the whole situation because I shorted BlackBerry. And by the way, let me go to the reason why I thought that they thought that might have been a pullback is because GameStop, the proverbial best of breed, was never positive. It never went nuts the last week.
Well, it's amazing. And again, just to kind of go back. So there's two ways. You get a stock like AMC, you get these parabolic moves. There's a couple of ways to approach this. All right. One, the first thing that I would warn people is that, don't ever think that a stock that goes from 20 to 40, don't ever think that from 40 you can't go to 80. And don't think that from 80 you can't go to 160. And we saw that with GME. All right. You throw all fundamentals out the way. It literally becomes a game of hot potato. And you have to be patient and wait for some sort of signal from the market. Now you can use RSI, but like you said, a stock could stay elevated up there. I like using, there's a couple of reversal indicators that I like using. I look for the first big move in the market where their stock doesn't have some kind of follow through to the upside. Chart patterns work, double tops, triple tops, but what you want to wait for, and you're almost better off you're not going to sell the top. You're almost better off waiting for that break and waiting for that first leg down and then trying to sell on that next leg up, rather than trying to pick a top and consistently just getting run over by a runaway train. And so that's the first thing I would tell anybody is, like, don't try picking the absolute top. You're going to put more odds in your favor if you're just patient, wait for that turn, wait for that sell signal, whether it's volume, a relative move in the S&P, whatever indicator that you use, but you're better off missing that first leg down rather than getting run over and consistently, blowing up. I've seen so many accounts get blown up by guys trying to short it. And then the other thing too is the stubborn guys who are buying at the top, thinking that the thing is going to go from 80 to 160 on the fourth leg, absolutely get destroyed because the thing backs down to 40. And so
the thing is, I'm not trying to pick the top of the bottom. The bottom line is I'm not wired after this time. I wasn't trying to pick the top of the bottom. I was in it because I wanted to use it as a gauge. Even if I would have flipped the trade over and went long.
So that's a different then
I only had a
that's
fraction.
A different,
Mike, I had 800
that's a different
shares.
perspective.
I have 10 figures in buying power and I had 800 shares. It turned out to be something where I learned I didn't put a stop order in.
So there you go. So all these lessons. I mean, yeah, exactly. Yeah. And stuff that to do, but here you are not thinking that thing's going to break 30 points in an hour while you're doing a webcast. And so you got caught, but that's different. But there's a lot of guys out there who would sell at 30, who would sell more at 40. It goes to 50. Oh, it can't go any higher. I'm going to sell more. It goes to 60. Oh, well, this is it. This is the absolute top. And next thing you know, the thing's at 77. I'm sitting here watching risk. I'm liquidating accounts and people absolutely get destroyed. And it happens time and time again.
There are stocks like right now that I'm showing you on the screen, and there are a handful of them that are driving the market. Which I don't get too stock specific, Mike, but it's Nevada, which is that's the one that's going up, driving the market. It's Upstart and Roblox.
Yeah. So again, hot money. Nvidia.
That's doubled in a month.
Yeah. And meanwhile, Apple is sitting in a tight range, not doing anything.
Exactly.
So you have a little bit of a change in leadership right now. I think with the market stagnant, and kind of sitting in a range, I think some of the players are just looking to do some returns, and so they're coming after these names. So you're getting, it's more stock specific as opposed to what we saw in January, where literally everything was going up.
Well, it also tells me the VIX, which I thank God I got out of the other day. I mean, you have the market on a Friday afternoon, and it's breaking whatever,
moving lower. Yeah,
it's breaking new lows. So I wouldn't be expecting. I'm not saying that I'm going to, wouldn't expecting any major reversals on a Friday afternoon with the VIX at this level. But
no, and it looks like
the unemployment number, Mike.
Yeah. Look, we disappointed and the market loves it. And so that tells me two things. One, I think the market right now is more worried about the Fed raising rates. And so this number keeps the Fed at bay. And I think that's going to be the theme going forward. And so this idea, everyone's talking about stagflation. You're not going to get the inflation part of that if unemployment doesn't go up, right? So I think that's the thinking right now, and I think the market's just kind of responding to that. But I do think we're going to be range bound here for the next few months until we get some clarity about whether we are, how much we're slowing down, right? How much the stimulus impacted and growth, and how much we're going to slow down, and you have to keep an eye on CPI, and you have to keep an eye on inflation. So that's the theme. It's been the theme since February now, March, and it's just continued to play out.
No, definitely. You just listen. Price action. She says it. Helene Meisner. You know what? The coach is friends with her, Helene, and. Right. Helene, let me go to the thing, and I'm going to maybe end it at this point because you have to split. But this is Helene's favorite thing, and it's this: a pinned tweet since it's for 5 years. Nothing like price to change sentiment. So right now, the price action is telling you with the VIX at a low and the Nasdaq and the markets at the high on a Friday afternoon, and the leaders are starting to go up again. Apple's not at the doldrums anymore. Microsoft right now is above all moving averages, so that's where we sit. That's
right. All. And it's, look, we're we're still very much in an uptrend. We're still making higher highs, higher lows, and so. But you got to keep an eye on those two things. You got to keep an eye on the Fed. You got to keep an eye on inflation, and just monitor, see how much the economy slows down. So those are the two things you really kind of watch. And Mike, real quick, my last point on AMC,
Sure.
and then I'll cut off. So and basically going back to what you said, and what you did, where as a trader, okay, so AMC is the hot name, right? Everybody, 500,000 shares. The volatility is insane. Things doing 500 million shares a day. Thing goes from 30 to 60, 60 to 40, and it's all over the map. What you did, where you traded, where you found those other stocks that were moving with it, and what I made a living. I made a career of doing that, of finding the others. You don't necessarily have to be in the AMC, but if you were watching, those stocks that you mentioned, yesterday I put on a small short in Nokia. It was one of these Reddit stocks.
No,
It wasn't much, but when I saw AMC reverse in the morning, it's almost like an absolute layup where that stock is going to come in, because it moved in sympathy with AMC. So you watch what you find the leaders, you find the stocks that move with the leader. You look for the patterns, right? You want to see how relative the moves are, and then you trade those that lag, and you're putting tremendous odds in your favor. And it's an easier trade. It's less stressful. And I was watching GME, and hard to believe, but GME actually was lagging AMC. So, and it became tradable in the sense that AMC had this big move down and GME's coming down with it. And it was happening after AMC made the move.
That's correct.
So you, a $250 stock is trailing a stock that's, 1/5 of its price. And you're putting odds in your favor by trading GME, and it became tradable. So again, just a couple of things to watch for. Again, and if nothing else, you have to be, I can't warn people enough about getting too big on some of these parabolic moves and being too stubborn. Throw fundamentals out the window. Don't become an investor. You want to become a trader. You want to just take advantage of the smaller moves or take advantage of the smaller timeframes. Don't think, oh, this thing, I'm going to hold this thing forever. It's going to be another GME. It's going to 400 or vice versa. You'll get absolutely destroyed. So.
No. With the entry, listen, you have to have a plan and you have to have an entry. And you said it a little bit earlier. My entries are predicated upon volume. And I'll just give the last example about AMC. Sure. It just happened to, listen, the biggest moves, this is a fact too. Look at AMC now. I'm not in it. The biggest moves come at the end. For example, let me look at a week. The biggest moves happen at the end of the cycle, which is why here, when the stock went from 56 to 72, at that point,
the volume, yeah.
Well, with the volume, the biggest moves come. And by the way, the move came with the biggest range from 62. So I used to read the market makers back, if you will, and back when there was a bid and ask meant something.
When you saw Goldman.
No, thank God I was able to to adapt. But still, volume tells the story. Now, when it started to break out here with multiple bars, that's when I should have watched out. But when it does the biggest volume, it's the volume bar. It's done all week. That's short-term capitulation, and you have to have the patience. When the stock goes from a half an hour from 57 to 72, you're not going to get it in one tick. So, right. The bottom line is you got to play. So I played it. I'm not saying to short it even. Some people don't like the short. I'll get into shorting a little bit later. And there weren't good shorts. And the shorts were under the 50 moving average, not to go on a tangent. So do you want to leave it at that, Mike, and I'll go on and get to some charts?
Absolutely, man. Thanks for your time.
No, thanks.
Look forward to talking to you, man. Have a good week. Take care. Bye.
All right. Mickey. All right, we had him on. Okay, so by the way, I like sends. How long have we been on? A half an hour? All right, TradeGate Hub. Go this morning. Let's go to the fundamentals because we have to do that more than anything. Good morning. Watch Mike Santoli's Twitter feed. watch them. Before today, we were in the middle of the range. Now we're up nicely. So we're probably somewhere about here, a little bit overbought. No, a little bit towards the toppy range. I don't want to say overbought. There's nothing overbought when multi-stocks are making year highs. I said to go over the data, overbought, oversold, the S&P in ranges, advanced decline line. These are intelligent moves to make the decision. It's part of what I do. I'm not alone in making the plan either. The sector's overbought, oversold. By now, you have to adapt, adjust today's numbers. Largest outflow from tech funds since December 2018. Bullish. Go back to when everybody's out of the pool. That means there's no money on the sidelines in tech at least. But you know what? And that was probably evident in why the markets did a little bit what it did today. Yeah, it was the unemployment number helped it, but I'm not saying that the move is over. It's going to continue. We'll go over that. I always post the ARK investment trades. Jim Cramer a while ago. Nevada is running for 3 reasons. That was a day ago, and since then Nevada's gone up another $24. So there's no secret there. There's no secret that Nevada is being helped by GM having the great day yesterday, a little bit of a pullback. I don't have time to get into specific trades of what happened yesterday, but the bottom line is GM had news and they pre-announced the upside and the stock had a monster move, more than it's had in many years. I think it's at a multi-year high, if not. Yeah, 2-year high. Okay, and with that being said, that's what helped all the other stocks recover. NIO had a big day. NIO rested, had a nice day yesterday, cup and handle. CCIV still going. RIDE, a little bit of a pullback, okay. So workhorse, you have all these sectors being driven by the General Motors news. Look at workhorse. From 960, doubled in 2 days. Have to be in that too. 125 million. All right, what else did I want to talk about? Mike talked about knowing that I saved myself. I wasn't in much trouble. What turned into be a mosquito bite turned into a little bit of a wound because I wasn't watching it. But with AMC, I mean, just because a couple of reasons. I've been trading for a quarter century, and secondly, this has happened before. So I knew that BlackBerry goes with it. I knew that Bed Bath and Beyond goes with it. I knew that SKT. Let's go back to 2 or 3 days. I know that SKT that went from 18 to 20. I knew that even something like Fizz, a heavily shorted stock, went from 46 to 40 to 47 to 54. iRobot. These are the even more obscure ones. iRobot went from 97 to 107, but the major ones, and I'll go to the screen here, were GME, Bezek, costs, same thing. So I knew that I had to hedge myself and follow it, or else I just would have been in a bad position. It would have bored me to death, and I just would have I would have had broken another cliche, which is don't let your trades turn into positions. But anyway, it happens, and next trade's over. Okay, yesterday's movers, no doubt about it. BlackBerry, Sienna, General Motors, as I said, Fisker, big mover yesterday. It's not done. Bed Bath and Beyond had a reversal. AI, GDS, cost TAL. Bottom line is go over the telecast, and the webcast, just go over what happened yesterday. There's a stock like TAL, which I could spend literally I could an hour on, continually breaking low. And the other one that Mike brought it back was that heavily shorted stock. Same thing. We had a client from 46 to 160, and it's a Chinese education stock. And by the way, that went from 113 to 127. So 2 weeks with weekends, the stock went from 48 to 160, and everybody knew it. Blah, blah, blah. Wasn't a good company, but here you go. It's sitting at 15. I was involved in Jax. I'm not going to lie to you. Oh boy. From 20, by the way, I forget about it, but the biggest moves do come at the end. The biggest block it did with the green, just to go over Jax again, and the move up was there. And the RSI stayed in the 80s for so long. It was unbelievable, but whatever. I lost my train of thought. All right, Bed Bath & Beyond, costs. Okay, TAL, that would work. TAL, and you know what? The whole group goes. EDU goes with it. Look at the range in EDU. 100 million from 1040 to 8. And I'm not saying you have to buy short it or whatever you do, but I mean, the stocks, if you're a little bit older like me and used to trading General Electric or IBM, they traded 4 million a share, 4 million a day with volume. that was a big volume day. And by the way, I'm not saying it's because it's going back. It's analogous to the liquidity, but you have to be in it. What else? I said there are three stocks driving the market right now, and the hottest ones are Upstart, to no surprise, because if you watch the webcast every day on the left, when I go to my queries, it's been on there. Upstart, NVIDIA, what's taking it up is Western Digital, another one with this drive still. Fubo, not resting a little bit. I do like Sens on the long side. It's resting. You get it pulled back, but I like it on a pullback. I don't know if the trade's over yet. Sens back and fill. Yeah, it's good here. I like Ren Sens in this area. I like it for a little bit longer. All right. So what else do I want to talk about? Coach said something the other day before I leave off about something. Where is it? Trade GitHub. Get out of here. And this is why I'm, I know it's a Friday afternoon. It's kind of dull, if you will, but let me go back to what the coach said. If I can. Timothy. Good morning, Tim. Checking in every day like a pro. Thanks, bud. It's right here. Nice call on the VIX. Thank God I sold it. All right. If I don't get it. Bottom line is, this is what the coach said. He says, good morning to the machine, Michael Venezia. And I thought about that for a second. I take it as a highest compliment, especially coming to what the coach has seen and done and is doing. But there it is. Good morning, machine Venezia. And you know what? It's not about being a machine. I don't have to get up as early as I do. I want to do it, but it's not about, I don't have fear of missing out. One of the earliest things I learned, and I was able to breathe this way, is that there's always another trade. And I do mean that. I believe that, obviously, because I'm saying it. But I think that what the coach meant in that reference was that, it's not that it's not that I feel that I'm a machine, or it's that I don't do it because I think I'm going to catch the next trade or put another zero on my account. It's because I fear that if I miss something that I might learn, or that I could process down the line and apply. Maybe the zeros come with it at another time. Here's some of the winners right here. Let's go back before I finish. At least let me pull biggest gainers with large range, heavy volume. But the reason why I'm new lows, we want over here, large range gainers. This is the one to look at. Anyway, so that's what I was saying, is that, it has to do with, I fear that I might miss something, that a movement, or it's a part of my plan, or something happened that I can apply later down the road that can make me be a better trader. And that's really what I think the reference. So I gave that a lot of thought. So I won't bore you anymore. The bottom line is, you know what, the markets, let's go back here. I don't get too much into it. I left off, it was at the highs. Markets up 29 handles, pulling up a little bit. The VIX still at the low. What's going on here? I'm interested in right here, large range movers, what's near the high. Roadblocks, AMC, EH, PD, earnings, CLNE, ESTC at earnings, 52-week highs, Oracle, that's a big cap mover. I'm interested. There are the RSI. So you know what? Turbo breaks up RBLX. To no surprise. Why not? I digress. Roadblocks breaking high out of nowhere. We started the telecast 11. You bought the dip at 100. You're up there. By the way, did volume, so watch it. Anyway, so tune into TGH. I don't want to sound like I'm a broadcaster, but I'll let you know what's going on later, what the plan is, defending or taking. So until then, if you're not, everybody enjoy the weekend, trade well, and we'll see you come Monday. Have a good day.